Greetings! In today's video, I'll be taking a look at a pair of palettes from the WatercolourHoarder. It's a lovely little shop on Etsy focusing on curated watercolor paint palettes and other cute art supplies. Hazel, the owner of the shop, also has unique empty palettes to add your own paints in. I had originally put in an order for a few items, but Hazel very generously sent me more products to try out and talk about. Everything arrived quickly and super well wrapped. If you notice while I unwrap everything, Hazel's drawing for the shop is somewhat in the same idea as the hoarding dragon that I use on this channel. I knew right away we'd be of a similar mind. In this video, I'll be talking about the palettes of light colors from Shinhan, or the Pastel set, and the palette of special edition granulating colors from Schmincke. Both sets came in a nice, thin and white metal tin, with a WatercolourHoarder sticker on top. The pans are quarter pans, and they come with a label on them and a magnetic strip on the bottom. Since the tin is an appropriate metal, they stay in place. The light colors set has 12 colors from Shinhan. There is Jaune Brillant No. 1, Naples Yellow, Jaune Brillant No. 2, Shell Pink, Brilliant Pink, Lilac, Lavender, Horizon Blue, Blue Gray, Verditor Blue, Green Pale, and Emerald Green Nova. The quarter pans are really nice. I love the precise labeling. The special Schmincke paint set includes the 15 colors that were released recently. They are split in 3 categories: the Galaxy colors, the Glacier colors, and the Deep Sea colors. The names are just for the fun of it, there's no actual relationship between the colors and their categories. I started with the light colors. The paints were really easy to re-wet and laid down super smoothly. It was interesting to see these colors over the black part of the swatches to gauge how opaque they are. If we look at the dry swatches for the light colors, we can see how some of them have some opacity to them, but that it's not completely opaque. Certain colors are a tiny bit more opaque than the others, but yeah, overall, all the colors in this set are slightly opaque. This opacity is mostly achieved from adding a white pigment into the mix to make the colors lighter. I think most of this have the white pigment PW6 in them, which explains why they're all commonly this light. To test them out on a drawing, I sketched a scene in my sketchbook and used the blues and purples to paint in the shadow, while using the other colors to paint the scenery, the sky, and the lit edge of things. The colors blended together really well and made a beautiful gradient for the sky. There's definitely something very calming and aesthetic to do with this color selection. In terms of my demos sketches, this one is unrelated. It was a lot of fun to work with these sort of light slash pastel colors. These lighter colors, they're very harmonious together, they go really well together, and I feel like they can really help you create scenes that are a bit more whimsical, something a bit more light, and with a very calming sort of aesthetic to them. I feel like the blues and the purples are really well suited to be shadows, and that even if the colors are mixed in with white, you still get a nice enough vibrancy in these colors. That's mostly because the white pigment dries more transparent than it is when it is wet. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to paint. For the Schmincke set, I painted larger swatches to fully see the granulation happening. I also took the opportunity to paint in my swatch cards for the large swatch book I try to maintain. The colors were easy to re-wet, and I love the fact that the quarter pans are flat with a bigger surface area, rather than something narrower and high. They are much easier to use this way. And this is the swatches for the special Schmincke colors. Let's see up close. All the colors are really interesting and fairly unique. That doesn't mean that they are unachievable if you have the pigments. If you have the pigments that are included in these mixes, you can probably recreate a color that is very similar to these. Overall, this set is really leaning towards the blue. You have a lot of colors that are, quite blue. There's a few that are quite brown, a few that are mostly black, and then there's one pink. This one is greenish. So definitely not a completely versatile set. Like, you don't have a granulating color like a red, an orange, a magenta, a yellow, a green, a blue, purple, browns, and all that. You have really specific and unique mixes. To test out the granulating paints, I decided to do a drawing that would feature a large rock. My plan was to use the special Schmincke paints for the rock, the backdrop, and the shadows. I was going to use regular Schmincke paints for the character and the grass. I think the combination worked really well. I love the texture on the rock, which I wouldn't have gotten just from the regular set that I use. I also couldn't have painted the character with just the granulating colors. For this one, also a lot of fun to paint, quite different in its approach. Test first, and it was a great big flop, so I put that aside and went back to the sketchbook, literally, and sketched something a bit different while keeping in mind that the granulating colors, you cannot really use them for everything, so I had to think of something that would make use of those and also make use of regular colors. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I think the extra granulation here really added to the feeling of this being a rock, and added some depth in the shadows as well. And also really a fun color, but most of these are really fun colors to have kind of this sort of just hint of a background, because the granulation provides enough texture to be super satisfying. So all in all, these little palettes, what I did was to take out the label tape and just label them so that I can more easily see which one is which. So I wrote the brand and the theme of the palette. I really like the tins. I think these are perfect for paint. Oops. Because they're just the right height. You can get Altoid tins and other mint tins to turn into palettes, but they're kind of much deeper, and it's something that sort of bothers me. And also the fact that this is painted white all over. So the lid is an excellent mixing area, and when you're done, you can, if it's still wet, you just wipe this, close the palette, and it's small, it's really easy to carry, it's manageable, it's magnetic, so you could eventually, I guess, push these around and add more colors in there if you wanted. And also this one is, well, you know, it's the same idea, but this one has 12 colors, this one has 15, so already you can see that you can play a bit with the amount of colors you put in there. Again, like, really nice palette, really nice idea. I think these are great. I took a peek at Hazel's website, and it's super interesting to see all the sets that she's put together, because you have a lot more sets than these two. There was like artist themed set like Alvaro Castaña's Selection and Jean Haynes and other watercolorists. So if you want to try a palette without having to buy every single coloring tube, you can give it a try with a curated set like these. I'll have links in the description to both these palettes and to the WatercolourHoarder website, the shop on Etsy, so if you want to go check that out. Also, I have a discount code for you guys. It's in the description. You can check it out if you want, and we are also doing a giveaway, so check out the description for more details on that if you want to take part or check it out. I will have scans of the swatches and the sketches available on my Patreon, so that's a good place to see them up close, especially the swatches. I tried to scan the swatches and color correct them so that they are a good representation of the actual colors. And that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.